Okay, so welcome. In this part we are going to talk about cameras, but first I wanted to cover something. If we open our content browser by going to Window, content browser, you can see that all this stuff here is kinda messy, and if we add more stuff it will get more messy. So in order to tidy it up we can make some new folders. You can do this by right clicking and pressing here new folder, then the name of the folder you want. I want to make a folder about my blueprints, so blueprints, and select this, press shift and then select the end of our things we want to select and drag them to our blueprint folder. Move here, and yeah, let's do it for the other stuff too. Let's create a new folder named input. Let's drag these over here. Let's create a new folder materials. Let's drag them over here, and let's create a new folder maps and drag these to over here. Okay, so let's do that, and yeah, so yeah, that was about folders. Right now, if we open our player that we made in the last episode, okay, let me dock it somewhere. Okay, all it do is just process some input, and when we press the Q button, and right now we can't even see our player, so let's add a static mesh for our player. I'll go over here to components and set static mesh, and let's make it the root component. To revise a bit, actors are made up of components, and the root component basically the source, the root of all components. Okay, so it's the center of all components. Okay, so still if we open window, viewport, you can still see that we don't see anything because we haven't added the static mesh. I will provide you in the link in the description an FBX file, which is a file that to store 3D models. I have made a kinda simple character in Blender. You can, if you want, you can search online for FBX files of different 3D models you want from games you like or anything, or make your own. But right now for demonstration I will import this model I have made, and the link is in the description to download it. So let's create a new folder. I will name it models and go in here, press right click, press import, and in downloads I will select this over here and yeah, import it. Here you just set the reset to default, and I think if we press import all it will be fine. Okay, so you can see it imported automatically some materials and my 3D model, and if I press my drag and drop my 3D model in the world, we can see we have a player. Okay, so let's select all our materials, click on this material, then shift to select all, and drag and drop them to the materials. Oh, I copied. Let me delete those, sorry. And yeah, select this, drag to materials. Okay, save this. No, I press duplicate. Okay, and now we have this model in our scene. We can delete it because we want to add it to our player. Let's go to BP player, and in the static mesh over here, let's search for our character. And you can see here that we now have a 3D model for our player. Let's compile, save. Again, if we press play, nothing, we can see nothing. Okay, we can still press Q and see. We can see nothing because we haven't added a camera. Okay, so cameras are basically the way for the player to see our 3D world. So let's add the camera. Okay, compile, save, and right now the camera is like that, it views the ground. So we want to have a third person perspective, so let's move it here, a bit up, and with E rotate it a bit to face the player. Because our camera, if you see here, is nested to our root component, it will move with our player. So if we move our players, it will move, they will move together. So let's say I drag this in the scene, they would move together because they are attached. The camera is attached to the static mesh, which is basically our player. You can see here a preview of what it will look like, but if you remember, we have assigned in the game mode our default pawn class to be BP player, so it will by default spawn our BP player. And if I press play, you can see that we have spawned our player. But right now, when I press play, you can see that it just spawns me. It spawns the player where I am. So, and let's say we wanted our spawn point to be here. All we have to do is go to here in the place actors, go to wall classes over here and search for player start. And here, that's where the game mode. At the start of the game mode will see here what do I have as a default pawn class. Oh, I have BP player as a default pawn class, so let me spawn him over here in the player start. So if we press play, you can see we spawn in the ground. Okay, if I turn it also, you will be able to see our rocks falling. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so right now what I want to do is we have this view with the camera, and I want to be able to move basically our player, our camera with our mouse. Okay, we will start in this episode to move the camera to look left and right. I won't cover up and down because it's the same, but let's focus now on to look left and right. So what we need to do is, of course, create some new input action, input action, and IA mouse. So this mouse right now won't be a bool, it will be a vector 2D, a 2D axis, because let's say we have an axis over here, this is the X, the Y, and here we have, let's say it's constrained to here, I guess. It doesn't go to infinity. And here we have 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. Our mouse will move in this two-dimensional plane, okay? Our mouse will move around, and yeah, so it will be in 2 dimensions, okay? So yeah, close that. Okay, so it will be a vector 2D, which is just basically a vector 2D is just this with that just 2 values, x and y. For example, 3 and 4. Right now, not 3 and 4 because we have 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. Let's say 0.75 and 0, I guess. Okay. So yeah, let's go. Let's add to the input mapping context. Let's delete this. Let's do this and the mouse. And first we will add the mouse X. Okay. So yeah. Now let's go here. Set IA mouse. Okay. And see here, this is our two-dimensional vector that the input action provides us with. If we press right click over here, we can split this value, this vector, and it will give us the x and the y value of this over here. Okay, so every time we move the mouse, I want to move our player around to look left and right. So basically what I want to do is I have this player over here, and I want to rotate him with this blue thing. Okay, so you can see it changes our view, and you can see over here that it changes our rotation, our Z rotation, our yaw. And if I change with the slider, you can see our player looking around. Okay, so we want to change only this rotation, the Z value of this rotation through code based on the X input. So our mouse will move left, right, left, right, left, right, and we want to, based on this, change this. Oh, yeah, this. And move the player around. So let's go over here. We will take the static mesh. We're gonna add a wall rotation. We can split this up, and because this will be 0 because we don't want to add any rotation to X or Y, because you can say if we add some rotation to X or Y, it will be like that. Or like that, and yeah, we don't want that. We only want this axis. Okay, so yeah, we want the X value to be plugged over here, but because as we covered earlier, this X value is between -1 and 1. If we do this, and let's say when the trigger is when and wherever our mouse moves, you can see it will, if I press play, it will move. It will move fine, to be honest. Yeah, it moves fine, but there is a kind of a problem over here, because I don't want to go into much detail over here for this, but it has to do because it will run, our mouse sensitivity will be at different speeds based on the frame rate of the game, and in order to compensate for that, we need to multiply by something. We need to multiply by get delta seconds. So you don't have to care about this right now, but have it in mind. And right now, if I remove pin, you can see that we move very slowly, but right now it will move at the same speed at every frame rate, and we want to move at the same speed at every frame rate in every computer, whatever it is. So in order to ramp up the speed a bit, we will add a variable, we'll drag it, promote to variable, and let's name it mouse sensitivity, and let's set it to something like, I don't know, 10. I don't know how fast. It's kind of slow. Let's have it. Let's have it to 50. And yeah, I guess you can change this as you want, but you can see the point. Let's delete this guy, and let me cover some. Now we can move around. Okay. You can see our player spawns a bit off the ground. Right now we don't have any physics, so we don't care a lot, but in order to have him spawn at the ground, just, you know, for visuals, you can drop this over here in the ground, and now it will spawn on the ground, and we can look around, and we can see our rocks falling, and we can enjoy this beautiful landscape too with our player. Okay, so yeah, that was about camera. Yeah, in the next episode we are going to cover movement, and I think it will be the last part of our tutorial series. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down below, and yeah, see you.